Alright, in this video we are going to graph the solution set of a linear inequality. There's two variables on a coordinate plane. So what I want to do is kind of talk about inequality and what you notice about them. Alright, so inequalities are really like the greater than symbol, okay, the less than symbol, the greater than or equal to symbol, and the less than or equal to symbol. So I'm going to write these down. This is the greater symbol, greater than. This is the less than symbol. This is the greater than or equal to, and this is less than or equal to. Alright, and the difference of the two, as you can tell, is the little bar sign right here. That little bar sign means a lot. If we were dealing with circles, these guys, the bars would be, and I'm going to try to do a different color shit. The one without the bar, it would be an open circle. That's open. Alright, so both of those would be open. If it has an equal to sign, it would be a closed. It means it'd be kind of filled in. So this would be closed. Now what is the difference in the two? The one without the bar, the open, means it does not include the number. The one with the that's closed, that's filled in, that means we include that number. Alright, it's a little different with the lines. So when you have a greater than or less than sign, your lines are going to be dashed. That means you don't include all the points on the line. But when you have an equal to sign, it is a solid line, which means you include everything in between the dots, everything on that line. Alright, so we're going to graph an inequality equation. So I've got one right here. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to put it in the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form, if you remember, is the y equals mx plus b form. We just want to put it in that form. Even though it's a greater than symbol, we're still going to do it. So we want y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. And when I do this, this becomes a zero pair. I bring down my 2y is greater than, and then we'll just say 4 minus 3x. Now I want to divide everything by 2, and the reason why is because I want y by itself, and y is being multiplied by 2, so I'm divide everything by 2. And then when I do this, I get y is greater than 4 divided by 2 is 2 minus 3 half x. Alright, so now I'm going to graph this. Now how do I graph this? The first thing I do is use the y-intercept. If you remember in the previous video, the y-intercept is the one that's by itself. The slope is the one with the x. That's your slope. This is your y-intercept. So I'm going to go where the y-intercept is 2, positive 2, and I'm going to put a little dot there. There it is, right there. That's 2. That's the y-intercept. Now I notice that it's negative, so that means my line is going down. Now I'm going to use rise over run. This is my rise, and this is my run. So I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 2. I could go up 3 and to the left 2. I have to have one negative motion, and I'll probably do both of these. So let's do the first one. We're going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 2, 1, 2. So we're going to put a dot right there. If I can get my marker to work right. And I'll delete this. If I can get it to delete. It's acting goofy right now. Alright. So I know my line is this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and go the other way. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then over 2. So the dot's right there. So if I was to draw my line, I would connect the bigger dots. Now, the first thing we need to notice is my inequality. My inequality is, and I just put a bar in it to confuse you. There's no bar. So that means my line's going to be dashed. So I'm going to put a dashed line here. So here we go. And if I draw it right, it works good. Okay, so there's my dashed line. Now I have to test this. Okay, so whenever you have an equality, you have to test them. And so I'm going to get rid of all the vocabulary words here. So I'm going to test it. And the way to test it is to pick the origin. I always pick the origin, 0, 0, and I'm going to circle it because it's the easiest to do, because it's 0, 0. Alright, it's when x is 0 and y is 0. So I'm going to put a 0 for x and y. So y is 0, 2 minus 3 halves, and x is 0. Alright, so 0 is greater than 2 minus, now what's 3 halves times 0? Well, it should be 0. Is 0 less or greater than 2? Is this true or false? Is this statement true? Is 0 greater than 2? Well, the answer is false. And because it's false, that means we don't shade the 0, 0 side. We will shade the other side, which would be over here. So all this will be shaded. Now what does this mean? This means that we can pick any point over here, and I'm going to use red to kind of point. We can pick any point over here and the solution will work. It'll be true. So let me give you an example. I picked 2, 1. Looks like I picked 2, 1 as an example. And I'm going to put 2, 1 in our original, in our equation here. Here we go. Alright, so this is my x value, this is my y value. So I'm going to put a 2 for x. Let me go ahead and put a 1 for, so I can try to say something. 1, that's 2 minus 3 divided by 2, and that's 2. These cancel out, so we got 1 is greater than, and 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Is 2 greater than negative 1? Yes, so that statement is true. And so that should be the side that's shaded, and it is after we did that. Let's do one more. Alright, so I'm going to get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 4x to both sides. Alright, then I end up with 5y is less than or equal to 20 minus 4x. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by 5. So now my y is less than or equal to 4 minus 4/5 x. Alright, so I'm going to graph it. I'm going to go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 4 right there on the y-intercept. Because remember, this is the y-intercept. This is my slope. So I'm going to go down 4 to the right 5 because it's negative. See the negative here? So it's negative 4. So I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to go down 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, now what do you notice about the slope? It's negative, so that means my line's going down, so that's good. Now what kind of line am I going to draw? Remember, you have to kind of watch out for this, because if it's a equal to sign, then it's a solid line, but if it doesn't, it's a dash line. This one has a equal to sign. See the little bar? So we're going to draw a solid line, and hopefully I can draw one straight, or close enough. There it is there. I've drawn one. Now we're going to test it with 0, 0. So I'm going to take 0, 0. That's the origin here. That's my favorite one. And I'm going to plug that in for x and y, and we'll see what happens. So 0 is less than or equal to 4 minus 4 times 4/5 times 0. So this becomes 0, right? And so 0 is less than or equal to 4. Is that true? Is 0 less or equal to 4? And the answer should be yes, it is. So that means we shade the side of 0, 0. Alright, so this side is true and this side is false. Alright, so remember, the shaded side is the true side, so this is true. The unshaded side is the false side.